Classroom of the Elite Episode 3, and we get finally the conclusion to this mini arc, which is the game of being in the boat and trying to figure out who the traitor is according to which group you were placed on. And to be honest, this was a pretty good conclusion in my opinion, because we got to see many plot twists throughout the episode. For example, we got a double plot twist when the VIP got found out, but it wasn't really him, it was somebody else. But that person wasn't either it, because it was somebody else, which was Karuizawa originally. So yeah, I mean, too many plot twists in this episode, and even in conversation there were even plot twists. For example, when Ichinose was talking to Ayanokouji. So yeah, I mean, a pretty good ending for this part of the plot. So now I think I'm going to talk about how the episode started, which is basically how the second episode ended, which is by Karuizawa getting bullied by the girls of Class C. And to be honest, Ayanokouji is too observing to the extreme that his partner, his classmate, even gets mad at him, because I mean, he's just there watching Karuizawa getting bullied. But of course, according to Ayanokouji, it's all a part of his plan, and even goes a little bit further, because he even instigates the girls from Class C to bully Karuizawa, because he sent a message to them saying that he too wanted to get back on Karuizawa because, I mean, she did something bad to him, but of course that was a lie. And of course the girls of Class C fell for it and went to bully Karuizawa, which of course Ayanokouji was there just watching again, and well, watching, but at the same time laying the trap because he was recording them. So yeah, I mean, he even went further extreme. And to be honest, I thought Karuizawa was going to get mad at him when Ayanokouji showed that he was recording the girls, because I mean, I thought she was going to say, so you basically got me to get bullied and you know everything about me, and you still went through all of that to just try to get on my good side or something like that. I thought she was going to say something of that sort, but no, I mean, she was actually grateful to Ayanokouji. And it was kind of weird, and this is kind of like the starting place where their relationship or friendship or whatever it is going to be is starting, because until the first episode and the second episode, we didn't see, or I didn't see any potential on how their relationship was going to start. I saw hints of it, but not really. I didn't have a really solid foundation. And yeah, I mean, this third episode gave us that foundation, and that foundation is by them protecting each other, or them getting something from each other. For example, Ayanokouji will protect Karuizawa, and Karuizawa will keep the girls at bay per se, because Ayanokouji's aim is to get to Class A because he wants to help Horikita. So I mean, technically he is using her, but at the same time he is giving something back to her, which is protecting her from getting bullied. So I mean, in a sense, it is a good trade. And to be honest, he is not really using her, because I mean, keeping the girls at bay is not doing something against her will. It's not something evil per se. So I mean, it is a good thing that he is doing that. I mean, the way he got to her accepting to do that is kind of here and there, because I mean, he did get her bullied, but I mean, she didn't get mad, and at the end of the day, everyone is happy. So I mean, he is cold, but he got what he wanted. The episode started basically that with Karuizawa getting bullied, and Ayanokouji of course figures out that she is the VIP. I don't think his ex was the one that told him that she was the VIP. It was probably him that figured it out. He also figured out that there was something else that was keeping her scared of getting bullied, which was I think it was something of a cut she had under her shirt. And then also I mean, he did say that he was, like I said already, he was going to protect her from getting bullied, because now he has proved that the girls were bullying her. And I mean, I guess you can say that was kind of necessary, because maybe the girls wouldn't have stopped bullying her unless basically caught on the act. So yeah, I mean, that was something that happened. And the episode then went on to the climax of the whole first part of the story, or the season, or this story, because I guess there are going to be next stories in future episodes, because I think this one is just concluded. And so the episode went on to the climax, which is them trying to figure out who the VIP is. And the climax starts by them, Ichinose and Ayanokouji, having a talk about trying to get promoted to Class A, and they both want to get promoted to Class A. And of course that couldn't actually happen, but then Ayanokouji says to her that of course it can happen, because he knows knows that, or at least there's a rumor that you can buy yourself the position into Class A, and she agrees with it, and yeah, that basically is the conversation they have. It's a kind of tense conversation because they can already see that each other are kind of smart people, especially Ichinose. She can already sense or see, or maybe she already knew since first season that Ayanokouji was or is actually a very smart person, because even at the end of the episode she hints that when he's having the conversation with Ayanokouji that, oh, is that Horikita's idea too? And then Ayanokouji responds that, yeah, who else should it be? Because Ichinose, of course, already knows that Ayanokouji is the one that is the mastermind behind all of it. And if she doesn't, then she has great hints, because I mean, she's already suspicious of Ayanokouji. Already, I mean, I think it was in the first episode that Horikita was trying to say that the one that should be more careful of Ayanokouji is, and then she got interrupted. I think the one that she was trying to say is actually Ichinose, because I mean it makes all the sense. She has the points, she is smart, she knows how to handle conversations and things of that nature. She even figured out the plan that Ayanokouji had. For example, she knew that Ayanokouji was going to do a double trap. He was going to act as a leader and exchange phones with his classmate of Class D, but at the same time he knew that he was going to get figured out. So he actually exchanged phones with Karuizawa too, and then gave Karuizawa's phone to her other male classmate of Team D. So it was a double trap, but at the same time you can say it was even a triple trap, because he bought the SIM card in order to exchange it with the leader, because he knew already that he was going to probably get caught by being called upon. So yeah, I mean, there were so many layers to that trap, because he exchanged phones twice, and then he bought the SIM, because of course in that school you can buy yourself whatever you want. For example, you can buy SIM, you can get promoted to Class A. I mean, there could be many things in the future that get introduced that we don't even know or imagine that you can buy yourself into. So I mean, he bought the SIM, he laid that, according to the episode, double trap, but I mean, it was, to be honest, it was a triple trap, because he exchanged phone twice and then you add the same part to it. So yeah, and then of course he gets figured out, but he wanted to get figured out. Ayanokouji, being the person that he is, he did that on purpose. And then I don't know if it was part of his plan to also Ichinose know, because she did know, and of course she didn't actually mind, because she wasn't going to gain or lose anything from it, because like we saw at the end of the episode when the points were distributed, I think it was Class D gained 50 points, Class C was the one that was the winner, which gained 100 points, Class B got 0 points, which was, they stayed the same. So maybe that was the reason why Ichinose didn't say anything, even though she knew of that plan all along. And then I think it was Class A that lost 150 or 100, something like that point. They were definitely the losers. Sakuragi is definitely not in a good place right now, because I mean, he lost the first game on the first season, and then now he's losing this second game. Definitely his faction is going to lose a lot of power. I wonder how Class C will go from now, because they are really playing out the punches, because I mean, they are really fighting. They're not getting basically beaten easily by Class D, and as long as Class D keeps doing good things in order to not get demoted to Class D, then they will be still in Class C or even get promoted to Class B and A. So yeah, I mean, Class D definitely has a challenge in Class C. They're not just pushovers per se. And even Ayanokouji says at the end of the episode that Class D now has, well, it's in a hot place, because I mean, everybody, or not everybody, but certain people, key people, are figuring out that Ayanokouji is really the smart one, and now all the other classes are looking at Class D, because they are putting a great performance, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, it is really interesting to see how Class D will handle itself now. I mean, being Ayanokouji, the person that he is, I guess he already knew or expected this kind of result, that Class D was going to get more the spotlight, they were going to get more eyes on them, and that Class C was going to go wild and things of that nature, because I don't think he is doing all of these things without having even a backup plan behind it. It will also be pretty interesting to see how Karuizawa and Ayanokouji will develop their relationship, because now that this game is over, well, of course they will interact because they are in the same class after all, but how will they interact? Because I mean, this game basically put them together, and I don't know how in future episodes they will interact. I mean, of course Ayanokouji will keep using her in order to get the results that he wants when he wants. But I mean, yeah, I think that was everything for the episode. Definitely different than the first two episodes in the sense that it was a conclusion to what the first two episodes introduced us to. I didn't knew that it was gonna end this soon. I thought it was going to go on for a little bit more episodes, but I mean it's a good thing in a way, because now we can get more stories or more arcs, if you can call them like that. The fourth episode will definitely be different, I think, than the first three episodes. Maybe it will be a transitory episode, which means it won't necessarily introduce us into a new arc per se, but maybe at the end of the episode it will maybe give us hints. Maybe it will be more of an episode that will be more of the classrooms and the classmates interacting with each other. Maybe we can see more of Horikita and Ayanokouji interacting with each other, because surprisingly enough, they haven't really talked a lot in these 3 episodes. I mean, they have talked here and there, but only cutscenes. So yeah, I mean, really short cutscenes that they talk with each other, basically talking about the game, but not really anything else besides that. I mean, I guess it is normal, because Karuizawa is the spotlight, is the main, if you can call it, protagonist of this second season, at least definitely of this arc, of this first arc of the second season. I guess I'll see you all in the next episode review, in the 4th episode review of the anime.